Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm taking a look at the 1/100 Full Mechanics Calamity Gundam. As usual, this video right here would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. So if you want some gunpla of your own, I'll throw a link to this item down there in the description. And I will mention that gunpla seems to be getting a little bit short in stock and whatnot lately, so I do recommend pre-ordering if anything takes your fancy. So getting right on into the review, and first off I'm going to start out talking about the build a little bit. When it comes to 1/100 scale kits, most of the time I've never been all that impressed. The only ones that really did impress me were the Reborn 100 Zaku 2 Kai and the Reborn 100 Gundam GP04. Besides that, we've got some okay kits and a whole bunch of kits that need a lot of work out of box to be decent models. Now straight away, even just right out of the box, this thing impressed me a lot. There's a lot of plastic in here and a lot more building than I was actually prepped to sit down for. This took a while. When it comes to the plastic in here, I was very impressed. We've got a whole host of colors that look ridiculously vivid. When it comes to the stickers in here, there are no color correcting ones, just some for up on the head and eyes. And we get some decals to complement the finished build. I'll also mention at this point, the frame in here is not labeled Calamity Gundam, it's actually called FM1100 GAT frame, which means we will be seeing more in future from this particular batch of Gundam Seed mobile suits. Just like the Reborn 100 Zaku 2 Kai, which I think was the last full release 1/100 kit by Bandai, this features a no polycap build, so it's just plastic on plastic, which means no saggy droppy joints. When it comes to standard Gundams and 1/100 kits that aren't master grades, this does not have a full inner frame, so it's somewhat like a giant high grade with a whole ton of surface detail. And once again, blown away by said detail. Yeah, this was a super enjoyable build. I enjoyed every single minute of it. It took a lot longer than I expected, and I did panel line it and stick on some of the decals for that full effect. So hey, let's check out what's in the box then. So anyway, there's the 1/100 Full Mechanics Calamity Gundam out of the box with absolutely everything that it comes with. So what we've got in here is the shield with the dual ram cannon, K for Zwei, the bazooka known as the Todesblock. This also comes with some alternate fingers for holding onto it. Next up, we've got the absolutely massive twin cannons that is the backpack. And finally then, here we've got a base adapter, and if I forget to mention it later on, this thing is rubbish. Anyway, that is enough about what is in the box besides the Calamity Gundam. It's time to check out said Calamity Gundam. So anyway, onto the full 360-degree spin. I was going to read out the full blurb about this particular mobile suit, but it's incredibly long. The long and short of it is, this is a second generation GATX series. It is based on a similar, if not the same frame to mobile suits like the Strike Gundam, which is one of the first generation GATX series. It can work outside the environment, hover above land, is complicated control, so it needs to be controlled by, what it says here is, biological CPU units known as Boosted Men. And basically it plays a very similar battlefield role to the Buster Gundam, which is long range, heavy support. When it comes to the overall aesthetics of this kit, I will throw up the original art of the Calamity Gundam on the right, and you will notice straight away it's a lot less stylized and more, well, typical Bandai model kit style than those particular proportions we would have seen in the anime. But by the way, this thing looks insanely good. This is what I've always wanted to see from these essentially non-grade 1/100 kits. Since Reborn 100, Bandai said we'd be getting a simpler kit that looks master grade on the outside, and this 100% is definitely just that. Let's get in a little closer. So yeah, like I just said, this is definitely a master grade look on the outside with a low-tech, no-cut corners build. It's simple but well engineered. We've got some parts coming from underneath the armor to kind of give a nice sandwiched effect, especially in the vents. The only colors we are missing on here is some red from the inside of certain vents on this kit, but besides that, this is ridiculously good. No stickers, no polycaps, and it looks phenomenal. Bandai definitely took a very economical approach to this kit. So for example, the head has a ton of parts in it, making sure it's very detailed, but then other segments, for example like the legs, have less parts but still look great. As for what I did with this kit, I did cut it out normally with a combination of the Build Up Nipper by Bandai, the God Hand Nipper. I did use some panel liner pens on this, which is black on most of it. I used some brown, on the yellow parts, and I tried out some of the green on some of the green armor, and it turned out pretty damn good. I did try out some of the decals on this kit. These are sticker style decals, so that does mean you can kind of see the edges in some light, but they're not too bad. They definitely have a very nice design. I would like to see Bandai release these as water slides, which they might actually do, especially if they do continue this line. But still, 4 sticker style decals, looking pretty good. What can I say? This ticks every box for me when it comes to the aesthetics. It looks phenomenal. The proportions look stellar. The color separation is ridiculous considering this is not actually a master grade, and it looks as good as a lot of the modern seed master grades we would have seen lately. There is no issues with this besides a little bit of missing red. Awesome. As for some size comparisons, there it is side by side with the Master Grade Gundam 3.0, the Master Grade Buster Gundam, and the Master Grade Freedom 2.0. So jumping now into the accessories, and once again here's absolutely everything that comes in the box. Now let's take a look at it one by one. So the first up are the weapons, and we've got the 337mm Plasma Sabot Bazooka Totus Block. According to the manual, this is a portable, physical projectile weapon that fires large warheads with calibers measuring over 300mm. The destructive powers of the warheads are enhanced due to acceleration using plasma created when charged particle groups and electromagnetic fields interact. Todes means death in German. Attaching this is pretty simple. We've got some dedicated fingers for using with this in the box. They just attach onto the handle. The handle can move, which is very handy for positioning it. You just pop in the fingers with the handle and everything works out perfect. This holds on well, it's easy to pose, and everything is super solid. The color separation on this is great. We've got some super dark gray bordering on black and some light gray. As for the decals, these look pretty good as well, but I did screw up the position of these ones up here. They look good from this angle, but these are meant to be right on top, not where I put them, which I actually thought was right on top, but also bazooka. So of course the Calamity Gundam right here is not a master grade, but I did notice something. The hand and that finger look ridiculously similar to what we've seen thus far in master grade. So if I actually take the finger from the weapon from the Freedom and try and attach it, will it fit? Because if it does, that is phenomenal cross-grade interaction. So let's see. So popping it into the hand, and it does fit. Look at that. Fits absolutely perfect. This is so good for customization. Actually, this is getting me kind of excited. What else can we like swap the arms? Are the arms the same? They don't look the same to me. Nah, these are the reverse. With the master grades, the peg is sticking out there, not the peg hole. But still super impressed by that. Next up then, here we've got the shield, and the color separation here is impressive. We've got every single color we would have seen on the mobile suit itself, and up front we've got the 115mm dual ram cannon Käfer 2. What the blurb says about this is, dual medium range beam cannons mounted on the shield as part of an offensive shield system. The shield incorporates ultra hard materials that have beam weapon resistant treatments applied. It can also be used as a striking weapon using the ram at the tip of the shield. Around the back of this we do have some moving parts, which is the handle, which can flip up and down like so, and we've got a rotating upper segment. Attaching this is pretty simple. Just stick the handle into the hand and then just pop the upper section into the peg hole on the rear of the forearm. This holds on rock solid, won't go anywhere, and we do have a little bit of a moving gimmick at the Käfer 2. So these can lift up and down like this, but you can actually snip them apart on the runner and get full movement of both of these. So there's a lot going on right here. So the last of the weapons we have in here is the 125mm dual high energy long range beam cannon Schlag. So what it says in the manual right here is large caliber dual energy beam cannons mounted on the back. They can be fired for a long period of time and can be used to attack multiple units with a single shot. They're not only effective in long range combat, but are also powerful medium range armaments. Schlag means hit or lightning strike. Attaching these is simple. You just slot them into that little slot on the back. These lock in good and strong and they look phenomenal. The articulation here is pretty good but simple, so they can pivot up and down like so all the way back. And they also have a side-to-side pivot, which is a little bit limited, but gives you a lot of range. Finally, these look phenomenal. The color separation and detail is the same as the rest of the mobile suit, which is insane. We've got some decals on these, which also look quite good, even though they do have a little bit of a border. And finally, in the ends, the business ends of these looks great. The turquoise with the red and the gray inside of it, it all looks great. Great color separation. So I will mention I did try a compatibility test with the Buster Gundam I had right beside me here, which has the same tab as the Master Grade Striker Pack. Sadly, it did not fit because it's a little too thick, but when you actually hold them side by side, this looks like a very simple modification. So basically, if you trim off some of those segments, you should be able to get it to attach onto the Buster. You might have to do some other modifications for the size of it, and if you pack the hole on the Calamity, you can probably use striker packs, but once again, you might need to modify some of the outer segments, like the thrusters. On a random whim, I decided to try the Freedom 2.0's wings, and I was ridiculously surprised. These do fit, and they hold on and look ridiculous. I did have to remove the thrusters from the back, and the big old block segments on the back of the torso do block these from fitting flush, but they fit in enough to hold on. So if you do modify this kit, you can make yourself a custom using other master grade seed kits, and that is phenomenal. I love when Bandai makes things compatible. Even if it's only mildly compatible, the slot and the hole, they fit. The last thing we have in here, and the most disappointing thing in the box, the base adapter. So whoever designed this really needs a slap in the mouth, because why, oh why put that narrow little bit in the middle? That is all that kind of keeps it balanced, that 1mm of plastic. So as you can see, there is no 1mm in there for it to link into, so that means it's just balancing on it. So this is what we'd call in Ireland absolute fucking shite. So finally jumping into the articulation, and I'm going to take off the backpack first, because you've seen what these big schlags can do, so we're going to take it off. The only thing we didn't see is there's a little thruster segment down here which can pivot up and down like so, but that's it. Also, I'll mention this is really affixed on tight. And underneath this, these thrusters here, these do not move. So starting from the head down, the neck isn't so bad. It's a ball joint up top, ball joint down below, so double jointed, giggity giggity, giggity goo. However, the looking up to the top, that isn't great. Looking down is quite good, and the side to side is okay, but a bit blocked, so not bad, but not great. The shoulder joint in this is pretty damn good. This does a whole lot, moves out like so, and then gives us some back and forward like this. As for raising the arm all the way up, it can go up quite a bit, but I will mention one joint in here is incredibly strong compared to the rest, so you will have to hold this in place to make sure that one moves as well and doesn't put too much pressure on the other ones, but not too bad. The shoulder armor can move independently to the shoulder. We also have this little flappy section in here, can move back and forward. Make sure to push this all the way in or it'll keep falling off. We've got armor plates on the front and back, which can move ever so slightly like so. Because of a bit of an armor lip up top, we do not have full rotation at the upper arm, but it is quite good. The elbow joint is double jointed, so you get a very nice bend here, and the wrist is also double jointed with a pair of ball joints, but you get quite a bit, but not a whole lot. Also, a ball jointed thumb. We do have a decent ab crunch here, which is surprising. That is an actual ab crunch up top and a nice shifting waist mechanism. So all this together does give you quite a bit of posing potential. We also have a side-to-side crunch, which is very nice, and there isn't much in the lines of rotation at the waist. Even if you move this peg up and out, which usually gets you something in most kits, it still is blocked. At the front skirting armor, these are double jointed, so they can move up like so, but for one reason or another, Bandai decided to make these kind of like what we saw on the wing kits, as in this isn't a full ball, it's flat at the top, so if you twist it, it just insta-pops off. On the side skirt, they can move up and down like this, but once again, same non-full ball, and it falls off. If they just made spheres, this would have fit better. Why did they do that? I don't know. Anyway, around on the butt flap then, double premium butt flap. We've got a shifting waist joint, which is very, very nice. This is one of those ones that locks into position up top, then locks into position down below, and if you have it anywhere in between, the leg is loose. Kind of like the Master Grade Gundam Mark II, which kind of gets rid of any posing potential between either of those 2 points. With the waist dropped down, here are the kicks. So there's the kick all the way up to the front. Bring this all the way up, easily knocked off the front skirting armor, so I'll try it again on the other side. This time making sure not to knock it off, and not too bad of a kick. There it is all the way out to the back, so pretty good as well. And when it comes to the splits, once again the side skirtings get a little bit annoying here. If you pull the legs up all the way, you'll knock off the side skirting, and you can't rotate the side skirtings to the back without them falling off either. So a little bit of an odd decision here. We've got a full spin at the upper thigh, very nice double jointed bend at the knee. Now testing the articulation at the ankles on the ground. There it is all the way to the front, which isn't too bad. Out to the back is okay too. The side to side pivot is about basic, so that does mean this is as far as you can extend the legs while the soles of the feet still touch the ground without them lifting. Finally then, we've got a little bit of a bend at the toe. It's not really all that much really though. So yeah, on the whole, the articulation on this is quite good. A lot of parts are inclined to fall off, like around the waist, the upper arm a little bit, so be careful while moving it around and they should not be an issue. However, on the whole, there's a lot of nice joints in here, and besides the ankles, well, it's pretty damn good. So yeah, anyway, that is it for the review, and this was a hard one to rank, but in the end, I've decided it is gold tier, but still utterly unmissable for what it is. So just going through everything, trying to explain why this is gold tier and nothing else, and that is one, aesthetically, this is ridiculous considering what it is. This is a non-grade essentially, and it looks phenomenal. Will fit in with any master grades without a single doubt. Beautiful surface detail, the color separation is off the charts, and it looks gorgeous. When it comes to the accessories, we get a lot of nice stuff in here, all the same quality as the kit itself with great color separation, nice moving gimmicks, and it is compatible with other Seed kits. You can use the Freedom 2.0's backpack with modification, and you can use its rifle, and I assume because of that you can use a lot more other Seed kits in its hands. When it comes to the articulation for essentially, once again, a kind of non-grade kit, this is outstanding. We've got some really great joints in here in the torso, the tilting waist mechanisms, the shoulder joints, all phenomenal. I hope we get to see the other kits like Raider, Forbidden Gundam, that other one I can't remember the name of. I hope we see more based on this. So buy a lot of this to make sure that we do. Finally then, when kind of considering it against other 1/100 kits out there, which aren't master grades, this is absolutely nothing like the Iron-Blooded Orphans full mechanics kits. I'd even say it's a little bit better. Those kits of course have a full frame because of the kind of design of the Gundams, so it's hard to compare the two. This is more comparable almost with the Zaku 2 Kai Reborn 100, which did revolutionize that line and kind of end it too at the same time. But yeah, this is like the Zaku 2 Kai, but I would say it's better because it's got more articulation and more detail. So for what this is essentially perfect. I do need to rearrange the old ranking system a little bit to kind of make Gundarium tier more of an award as opposed to the pinnacle of gunpla. But as far as this goes and what it is, I do think this is gold tier and definitely worth getting. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much to HobbyLink Japan for providing this for the review. If you want one of your own or you want some gunpla of your own, link down there in the description. And as always, I'll see you next time. As always, thank you so much for watching. Without you guys, all of this would not be possible. These videos would not be possible. And special thanks to those helping out over on Patreon and on the channel memberships, including Mr. Winter, Joseph Kukluk, Tito Lewis, Gunpla Chef, Bakito Official, Van Fawn, Sean T, Caleb Engelhardt, Brian Perez, Tyler Sanders, and Craig Jury.